over here to Facebook for just 1 second away from what we're doing and get this all going to make sure that we're live and make sure we can get some people going with us. And then I'm going to do a big introduction of you because they only came to listen to you. Nobody came to listen to me. That's for sure. I am here with my, oh, I'm choking on nothing now. I am here with my friend, Shannon, and Shannon is a food blogger. She's a food blogger who is going to give us some crazy good insight today on the whole, what do we do? What do we do now that we're trapped at home? Some of us are not cooks, chefs, any of that, bakers, even though the stores are now out of every ingredient you need to bake.
Yeah.
But none of us were bakers before. Like 3 weeks ago, I would have never said I knew how to bake, and I would have never made bread. And now those are the two things I do. So we're going to spend some time today with Shannon, and Shannon runs a food blog called Pass Me Some Tasty. And Shannon, do you want to tell me how that got started? How did you start doing this?
Yeah. So I used to be I used to do marketing for an architecture firm. Long story short, I became pregnant with our first and decided that it just wasn't working trying to do marketing for this firm remotely while also taking care of a newborn. So I quit my job, but I needed some kind of creative outlet that kind of allowed me to take off my mommy hat occasionally and do something for myself. And I've always been a cook. I enjoy tinkering around in the kitchen and trying to make food from scratch using whole ingredients. And I have a high value for unprocessed foods, healthy foods. So anyways, yeah, I decided to start a website called Pass Me Some Tasty, where I could have an excuse to play with food, but share it with other people too. And now it's grown and turned into something more than just a hobby. But yeah, it's a business in a sense too, while also providing tasty gluten-free recipes for people that are looking for that kind of thing.
How long ago did you start that?
About 4.5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you mentioned you just threw in the word gluten-free. You're not, I'm not saying other people are fad followers, but you're not a fad follower. You're doing this because
I am not a fad follower, and you'll never hear me preach any type of fad diet. I don't believe in that. I think that the foods that we eat should be foods that you're eating certain foods because it's what your body requires. And for me, after I had our first daughter, there were just things in my body that changed. I guess the best way to put it is my doctor, she said, well, she considered the type of labor that I had to be a traumatic event. Having a baby is a beautiful thing, but let's be honest, it's really hard.
It's really hard.
A lot of things to your body. And for me, what she said basically happened is it caused the gluten switch to flip in my body. And so after I had our first daughter, I was no longer able to tolerate gluten. I became very, very sick. It affected my body physically. It affected me mentally and emotionally. So long story short, after trying to figure out what was going on, in meeting with my doctor, we realized that I had become gluten intolerant. So for me, it's a very, eating gluten-free is very necessary. It's not a fad. If I could go back to just walking into any restaurant and picking up a slice of any pizza that I want or any muffin or scone or whatever, I would absolutely do that. Like why people choose to just go gluten-free for the fun of it, I personally don't understand.
Is your whole family gluten-free?
They are, yeah. We also realized that my first daughter, when she was about 9 months old, she was having some major gastrointestinal problems too. And long story short, we found out that she was also gluten intolerant. My husband has also had issues with gluten. And then my youngest, just by default, because of everything that's happened with the other three of us, she is also gluten-free, whether she likes it or not. So, but she doesn't know the difference. She's been gluten-free her entire life. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So here is where those of us who live a life like me, um, maybe some processed food, maybe a lot more restaurants out,
Yeah.
definitely gluten, all of those good things.
Mm-hmm.
Now we are home. As I posted yesterday on my Instagram, grocery shopping is now like literally it was most of a day on Sunday to go grocery shopping because it's the gloves, the mask, the shopping list, the staying 6 feet away, the bringing the groceries home, having a clean area, having a dirty area in the house or in the garage that we do the groceries and then finally get to bring them in. Um, it's like hours. Oh, not to mention that I also seek everyone else that's in my little bubble of a circle over near my house and see if anyone else needs anything, which includes my father and my in-laws.
Mm,
And so I shop and do all theirs too, and then clean all theirs up and deliver them. So it's now a whole day thing.
yeah.
I don't want to go to the grocery store 3 times in a week. I don't have 3 full days to do it.
Right.
How do you meal plan? Because, and
Mm-hmm.
especially now that we're meal planning 3 meals a day, like this is like, I don't even know how to grocery shop for this. What can you help me with?
Yeah. I mean, I think we gotta get really basic here. Like, I think first off, we have to think about what is our goal with meals. I think very few of us would say that we want to make a gourmet meal 3 times a day, right? Like most of us aren't even making a gourmet meal once a day. It's like we need sustenance, right?
Yeah.
We need some easy meals that we can make quickly and not spend all day on. For me, like I have to be I also have to be a lot more intentional with meal planning because I like I don't mind going to the grocery store. As a food blogger, I get to go and I get to look at food, and it's part of like my brainstorming of how I develop a recipe to be in the store and looking at things. But that has changed a lot. And honestly, right now, like it kind of stresses me out going into a grocery store. Like,
It used to be like an escape. Like, ooh, I get an hour by myself in the grocery store, and now I'm like, I don't want to be here an hour.
yeah, when you drive by a grocery store and you see a line of people standing outside, or even once you get into the grocery store, and not everybody is honestly respecting the 6 feet social distancing, it's stressful. And so I'm like, I'm not even going to go into a grocery store right now. But I think what's important is to just on the at the beginning of a week or whenever is a convenient time for you and your family is to just sit down with a blank sheet of paper or even hop online and Google free meal planning calendar. There are a ton of bloggers online that are offering blank meal planning calendars, and just print a sheet off and ask yourself, okay, how many days do I want to tackle here? Like how many meals do I want to know in advance that yes, this is what we are eating on this particular day. So like the other day, I sat down with my kids and I said, hey kids, we are going to plan out 12 days of dinners. Yeah, 12 days. Okay. So I've got
I got
my,
to 8 and I was really proud of myself.
yeah, that's great. Whatever it is, it's going to be different for everybody.
I
You
know.
know, it might be 7, it might be 10, whatever. We shot for 12. That was our goal. So you just sit down with your blank sheet of paper or your calendar and you just start going through day by day. Now, I think the important thing is that you got to decide like what's for us. I'm like, what is the one meal that I really want to give a little extra to? That doesn't mean I'm cooking for hours, but what's the one meal that I want to just have more with? Okay.
Right.
And for us, that's dinner. So for breakfast and lunch, we're not doing elaborate recipes or anything like that. Like for us, breakfast and lunch is very basic. Like let's keep it basic, especially when things are already stressful enough, right? So breakfast can be super simple. Like if you like oatmeal, let's have oatmeal, you know? Maybe let's throw some toppings on the oatmeal if you want to make it interesting. Or you know, do you like smoothies for breakfast? Like those kind of things are really easy. You know, same thing for lunches. Like we're not going overboard with lunches. Like that can be as simple as like, let's make a salad today. or let's make a sandwich. So for us, like breakfast and lunches, like just think about what are the things that you like, what are things that are quick, what are easy, maybe even what are things that you can prep in advance. Like if you're an oatmeal eater like I am, one thing that our family really enjoys are overnight oats. You can make a big batch of that and that will last our family like several mornings, so you've got your breakfast taken care of for several mornings. The other thing that we do in our family for lunches is when I'm making dinner, I am always making extra. So that way your lunch is already taken care of for the next day, because you're eating dinner leftovers from the previous night. So I think if you can like really focus in on, let's say dinner, for example, and making extra, you've already knocked out your lunches for those 12 days. Okay. If you don't mind eating the same thing for lunch the next day, right?
I don't. I have a husband who does.
Oh, yeah, that can make it kind of tricky.
He doesn't get lunch. No lunch then, babe.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then, yeah, for him, it's like, okay, well, what do you want to eat? I mean, what does he want to eat? Is it, sandwiches or salads or whatever? I don't know what other people want to eat for lunch. But basically, so what I do is I sit down and I just think about like how can I make the dinners into, like, what are the types of foods that we eat? And that's going to be different for everybody. Like some people are vegetarians, some people are vegans. Our family is not. I mean, we do have some nights where it's like, hey, let's make a vegan recipe. But then there's other nights where I'm like, hey, let's have something with chicken, or let's have something with some type of fish. And I think really what it comes down to is like Google is your best friend, right? There are thousands of food bloggers that, like, our passion and our job is to provide awesome recipes for those people that need it. So all you have to do is sit down to Google and write, do a search for like easy chicken recipes, and you're going to be given a whole list of bloggers that are trying to give you easy chicken recipes. So, some people have their favorite bloggers that they go to. Hop onto their website, make use of what that blogger is offering you, and just start writing down dinners that you see on their website. Plug them into your calendar. And when you go to each recipe, so let's say, like on my website right now, one of the recipes that you'll see when you go to the homepage of Pass Me Some Tasty is a Southwest chicken rice bowl. Okay, so let's say you pull up this recipe for a Southwest chicken rice bowl. Go down to the recipe card where the ingredients are and start going through each of those ingredients and ask yourself, do I already have those things on hand? Or, are there some things that maybe I'm missing? Like maybe I need some rice, or maybe I'm out of chicken. And those things, the things that you need, that's what you're writing down on your grocery list, right? So you've got two pieces of paper. You've got your paper where you're putting your dinners and your meal plans. And then you've got your paper that is now your grocery list, where you're adding all those things that you do need, so that when it comes to that day to make that Southwest chicken rice bowl, you're going to have everything that you need already. So you just go through day by day. And eventually, whatever, if you're tackling 7 days, when you get those 7 recipes, you're going to have your list of all the ingredients that you need for those 7 days to make it happen. And then that's when, if you don't want to go to the grocery store, like what I did the other day is I hopped on to Instacart, and because I wanted to have my groceries delivered. And I'm just sitting there plugging in all the groceries that I need. And then my groceries showed up on Sunday, and I'm set for 12 days. There's no guesswork as to what I'm making for dinner tonight, because it's on my calendar and I already know I have all the groceries in my pantry or in my fridge for that dinner.
Do you have items that you just always make sure you have in your pantry or your fridge?
Yes. Yeah. So I would say, yeah. And that might look different for everybody, but for us, like, it's non-dairy milk, it's eggs, it's cheese. I actually keep, there's actually some things that in my pantry, I have a 5-gallon food grade bucket for. So I buy like a huge bag of jasmine rice from Costco, and that is living in a 5-gallon food grade bucket in my pantry.
Okay.
We also make our own gluten-free bread in a bread machine. And just a very go-to easy recipe for that is we buy a gluten-free flour blend from a company called Pamela's, and we get that delivered through Amazon. And that gluten-free flour blend lives in another food grade 5-gallon bucket in my pantry.
You feel like we should make her go show us her pantry because I bet it's amazing.
Oh, no.
I won't do that. I didn't give you any notice on that one. I won't make you.
Yeah. Yeah, so things like that. I mean, like, yeah, for us, we eat rice, we eat pasta, gluten-free pasta. So there are basic staples that I would say. But again, it's like, I think when it comes to meal planning, I think if you take the time on the front end of a week, maybe it's an hour, maybe it's less, and you just sit down and you ask yourself, okay, what would we like to eat? I mean, you don't have to know the specific, but maybe you feel like, I don't know, having something with tofu for dinner. Like, just Google tofu recipe, and you're going to find it, and just start building that grocery list based on those recipes and the things that you need in order to make it.
You're like, it's like giving me anxiety, but like excited.
Oh no.
I feel like a lot of people, including us, have like our go-to meals, right? That we like.
Sure.
And thankfully, this is all happening to us in the spring and going into summer instead of winter. We barbecue almost every day because it's just easiest and fastest for us.
Yeah.
But it's that whole thing of like, okay, there's a hamburger, there's chicken, there's a hamburger night, there's a chicken night, there's a vegetarian night, there's always a pasta night, and it's like,
Yeah.
What's your suggestion for those of us who just need to mix it up because going on week 4 of this, and I think if we tell my kid we're having hamburgers one more night, she might throw a tantrum. And she eats everything. So thankfully we're like one of those families that we don't have to deal with that, but she is getting tired of the same 7 meals every week.
Yeah. And again, I think that's where, like, yeah, even though it might, I don't know, like, trying something new can sometimes cause anxiety or stress. Like, I think that's what it comes down to, is it's like, like, yes, we've had cheeseburgers, how many days or weeks in a row or whatever. And I think it's a matter of, being willing to resource all the amazing food bloggers that are out there and their recipes that they're offering, and be willing to try something new. And, it might not turn out awesome. Like, let's be honest, not every recipe out there is awesome. But I think what you will find is that there are a lot of good recipes out there that people are offering to you for free. You don't have to sign up for some crazy recipe app that is charging money, okay? But there's a lot of really great recipes out there. And what you might find is if you're willing to, like, step out of the box a little bit and try something new that uses hamburger in a different way, it might become a new favorite.
Oh, that's true. What do you do for healthy snacks? I did not know that my child could eat so much. It makes me think that I was like starving her prior to this because she never ate this much food ever.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like, I mean, and it's the same for all of us. I mean, my hours for work are super crazy now because I stay up late so that I can homeschool her during the day. So I feel like we're all grabbing things they talk about flattening the curve. And I think the best meme I've seen is the one that's like, the curve may be flattened, but all of mine are getting bigger.
Yeah.
What are healthy snacks? What do we do when it's that whole, we're tired, we're exhausted, and do you prep snacks and stuff? What do you do?
I think that varies from person to person. I think one of the easiest things, and I feel like, at least with kids, like that, it can be tricky. Like, I don't know about your kid, but like my kids, it's almost like their taste buds change every other day. You know what I mean? So it's
No, so
like,
you want some carrots? She's like, no, I hate carrots. I was like,
yeah,
you picked them out at the grocery store.
right. And yesterday they loved them. So who knows what you're going to get today? So I think like what we've found is like the key for us is, you know, having access to those quick grab and go snack items and having some diversity with them, right? So like for us, like I've got a fruit basket that hangs out in our kitchen that's accessible to everybody. Like my kids can reach for whatever is in there. So like filling it up with apples, with, you know, cutie oranges, with bananas. Those are very, you know, quick grab and go healthy items that I'm like, I'm fine with them eating, you know, they can eat that any time of the day
As
if
you
they
want. Don't
want.
ask, just take.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and then there's other things that maybe require just a little bit more prep. And that's something, again, that you could do at the beginning of the week, maybe on a weekend if you have more time on a weekend. But like, you know, if you want to, I don't know, let's say tomorrow your kiddo does like carrots again. Well, maybe we can make the carrots more interesting by making like a yummy hummus dip for her to dip them in, or maybe it's ranch dressing. I mean, I don't know, you know. But like having different dips for things. Like my youngest right now is on a celery kick. So it's like, yeah, let's just have a thing of celery in the fridge. We can break off a stalk of this and, you know, some peanut butter on it, stick some raisins on it, and you have ants on a log, you know. Just things like that. But it doesn't all have to be, you know, fruits and vegetables. I mean, it can be, I mean, crackers are great. Let's have some crackers. Or one thing that my kids love that we make from time to time are they're these little energy bites that have mini dark chocolate M&Ms, not M&Ms, mini dark chocolate chips in them. And they're just like about that big. And we keep a container of those in the fridge. And they're super healthy. They have healthy ingredients, oats and flax and chia seeds and all kinds of stuff, peanut butter, or you can use almond butter. They don't have any refined sugar in them. And that's something that, yeah, you can make a huge batch of those and store them in your fridge. And again, you know, when you get hungry, it's a quick grab and go type snack.
It's awesome. Yeah, no, I think that's our issue, our downfall. I just don't think we're prepared.
Yeah.
Like we're the people who grocery shop like every other day in real life. In real life, that's what I call it now. In my real life. Okay, one of the things that attracted me to what you write about and what you talk about and kind of the lifestyle that you're living
Mm-hmm.
has a lot to do with you do eat very healthy. However, you're not above having a good splurge.
Right.
Um, that was like, so for full disclosure, I met Shannon 4 years ago,
Yeah.
and then she led a fitness program that I took part in, and that was where I was like, oh wait, she's not all serious about this. Like there's a splurge that happens. Okay, I can buy into this now. Um, what what do you guys do for splurges? For us, it's literally a bucket, and we just go and grab something horrible for us. What's a better option?
Oh, better option. Oh, I thought we were gonna get serious here with like.
Oh, we can get serious. We can get serious. Okay, what do we do for good splurges?
Well, let's back up. Like, yeah, I do not. People will never hear me preach that you shouldn't have dessert. Like, let's be honest, especially right now. Like, dessert is awesome. Like, let's live a little. Let's be okay with having dessert, and let's not ever call food. You know, let's not give it any moral value. Like if we're gonna go have a piece of cake, let's not say, okay, I was bad today because I ate a piece of cake.
Right.
No, no, no. The cake's not bad, and it's not bad that you had a piece of cake. It's just a piece of cake, and it's okay to have cake. I think what it comes down to, like anything in life, is we need balance. And when we allow the pendulum to swing with what we're eating way far to one side, that's when you know, that's when we're compromising our health. And we usually notice that in how we feel, both physically and mentally. But for us, like what I tell people in the classes that I teach is that like we're aiming for what I call an 80-20 rule. And that's a common term that you'll hear in the nutrition and fitness industries. But really, what we're going for is 80% of the time, we are eating those healthy, nutritious whole foods. And then the other 20%, it's like, yeah, maybe I went out and I ordered the cheeseburger and french fries and the milkshake, or, maybe I had some chocolate chip cookies or whatever. And that's fine. Yeah. So like when you do go to my website, Pass Me Some Tasty, like, yeah, you'll see all kinds of healthy things on there, but you're also going to see a recipe for a chocolate chip brownie cheesecake, gluten-free chocolate chip cookies. And I really hope you make them and try them out, because they're awesome and we need to live life a little bit, and it's going to taste really good.
Okay. I think it's such a good, it's such a good reminder, right? That it's like, I feel like being home, I feel like when I'm on the go, I know it's not great, but like there's a meal I'll skip or there's whatever. And now that I'm home, I'm like, oh, it must be lunchtime. Like I got to make Lucy lunch. So we're going to all eat lunch. And
Yeah.
so that whole idea that like, I think that I think the 80/20 is a good one to remember. And I should probably put it down somewhere, because it's so much of the balance or in moderation or whatever. But yeah, we didn't used to be dessert every night people, and we've become dessert every night people. And I think it's our like high five to ourselves of like, we made it through the whole day. We get something.
Totally. Yeah, totally. And I think, the other thing too, I mean, what sugar does to us and the craving that it creates within us, I mean, that's a very real thing. You hear people talk about, oh, I've got a sweet tooth. Well, yeah, like there's actually like a chemical thing that is happening in our brains that is causing that temptation, like of us wanting to grab something that is sweet. And so, I mean, one thing too is like, if you feel that sweet tooth craving coming up a lot, it's if we want to switch to the healthy topic now, like sometimes it's just a matter of acknowledging, okay, I've got this craving right now. This is what the craving is. Maybe it's, something sweet, but other people, it's something salty. Like they're going for those salty potato chips. And I think like if we can take a step back and acknowledge what the exact craving is, then we can start to brainstorm healthier foods that will satisfy that craving. So like if you're wrestling with, a sweet tooth craving every single day, like maybe it's a matter of saying, okay, instead of reaching for whatever it is, ice cream or cookies or whatever, I'm going to try to curb that sweet tooth with a healthier option of something like, maybe it's a bowl of unsweetened plain yogurt and you're topping it with fresh berries and maybe like a drizzle of honey and a sprinkle of cinnamon. It will satisfy that sweet craving that you have. And so sometimes it's just thinking out of the box a little bit, like understanding what is causing the craving and then thinking about foods that do have like a sweet flavor profile or a salty flavor profile that would be better than the potato chip.
I've realized that I had to move my sweets to I'm all of 5 feet tall, but I had to move all of our sweets up a shelf.
Yeah.
Like, so they actually need the step stool to get them, because they were just so easy. That was the thing. Like I wasn't thinking about what I put, and I'm cool going on the step stool and getting something, but it meant I had to like make a decision of, do I want that thing? Where before it was like, oh yeah, we'll just take one of those as we're going back to my office. And it's like, hold on, you can't just pick one up every time you go to your office, all 22 times that you walk back there during the day.
Right.
What about, I think that the other thing that being home is telling us is a lot about like what we do or don't own for our kitchen. Are there particular gadgets, things, all of those things? I bought my husband an air fryer for the holidays, and we haven't even taken it out of the box.
That's awesome.
Literally still sitting in the box. What are we on, month 4?
Yeah.
So that's our goal. Before this is over, we're going to learn how to use our air fryer.
Mm-hmm.
But are there gadgets, tools, things that you recommend that every house should have that make all this easier, or any of that?
Well, here's
You
the
have a
thing.
bread maker.
Yeah, we do have a bread maker. And for us, for our family, that's a necessity. Going out and buying gluten-free bread, I mean, it's expensive. And my kids go through a lot of bread. They like sandwiches. So yeah, so for us, it's just a necessity. And we've been doing that way before sheltering in place happened.
Sure.
I think the important thing to remember is like, let's just keep it simple. Like if like if you, like the air fryer, like I hope you guys do use it. I don't personally have one, but I've heard great things about it. But I think sometimes like we get more concerned about the things that we don't have and we go out and buy them. And then, yeah, they sit in the box and we don't use them. And it's like, like, well, let's think about what we do have already before we go out and buy more stuff. Just a basic set of pots and pans and some baking dishes. I mean, that will take you far. Like you guys said that you like to grill outside. Like that's going to take you far. I mean, there are other kitchen tools that you could buy that might make it easier. I mean, like a slow cooker. A lot of people already own a slow cooker. That can make life easier. But again, if you're not going to take it out of the box, that's not going to.
We use that one all the time. That one we use all the time. I do have an Instapot that's only been used like 3 times.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Like, like you have to be willing to take the time to learn how to use it. Right. Yeah. So like, if you are excited about the Instant Pot, like there are great resources out there and great recipes that you can make using that. But like, if you're just not interested in figuring out how to use the different functions on that, then I would say don't buy it. Yeah. Like if you've got a slow cooker, just be okay with the slow cooker and use that instead. But yeah, slow cookers can be helpful. Instant pots can be helpful. I use my food processor all the time for things like making homemade hummus or, just doing like if I want to chop up some things really quickly, I use it for that. Like last night, even I wanted to shred some cabbage really quickly for some fish tacos that I was making. So I think a food processor is great for a lot of different uses. But yeah, again, it really just depends on the person and what they're willing to try.
So I'm totally going off. For full disclosure, I give some notes beforehand, so we're not completely catching somebody off guard, but I'm going to go off. And so okay. I hope you're good. Yeah. On your counter, do you leave all those appliances out?
No.
Your food processor, your bread maker and stuff, that's all put away?
It's all put away. Yeah. So my pantry.
Put it away, I forget about it.
Well, for me, they're very accessible, and that's going to depend on the person's kitchen too, and just on your personality. Like honestly, for me, like when I walk into my kitchen, I mean, my kitchen is a mess right now, but in general,
I do not believe that. So Shannon's still leading online workouts for us, and
I'm not seeing my kitchen in those videos.
I know, but your living room and your dining room where you shoot that, it's like the cleanest. I actually made my husband look at it the other day while I was working out. I like walked off screen and was like, look at her house. How does she have 2 kids and her house is so clean? So
you're not even seeing my living room in that. You're literally seeing the area in between that's like this kind of hallway space between our it's like a great room area with the kitchen and living room. What's that?
It's spotless.
That area is. It's because I shoved everything to the outside of the video so you can't see it.
Well, I'm just using it as inspiration to clean mine up. But your kitchen, I'm guessing that you have very clean counters and all of that in your kitchen, very cleared off counters.
I'll let you continue thinking that.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, I don't let all of my back to your question, I don't let all of my kitchen appliances live out on my countertops. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing that, but I just personally like when my kitchen is clean, I like to have very little cleaning out on my countertops. And so the pantry that we have in our home, it's one that you can, it's a small little room that you can walk into. And we actually my husband just redid the shelving in the pantry. And so when you walk into it, there's a kind of like a butcher block shelf that is like a waist high shelf in there. And that shelf, I have all of my kitchen appliances on. And I'm in my pantry every day anyways, grabbing cans of food or whatever. So for me, the thing, the bread machine, the Instant Pot, the Vitamix, I mean, all those things are very accessible and I see them regularly.
See, that's the thing. I feel like they need to be visible to like remind us to use them, right?
Yeah.
So yours are visible. Mine get pushed in this cupboard. I feel like we bought this amazing house. What realtor sold us this house? We bought this amazing house, and we were like, "Ooh, it has such a good pantry. It's so much bigger than our last one." It's not a walk-in pantry. It's just this big pantry. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's not." So I'm gonna have to talk to my realtor about that.
Yeah, you might have to buy a new house, huh?
That's a conversation for another day about the real estate market.
Right.
Okay, I don't want to keep you too long. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that am I missing anything? Is there anything that we need to chat about?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I think like really like what it comes down to is, like if it's if you're like if you're feeling what I've been feeling lately where it causes you stress to go to the grocery store right now, just with everything going on. And not to mention, it's like, you could go to the grocery store and your items that you wanted to get might not even be there, right?
Right.
Because of the pandemic buying that's going on. I would say, you know what, like make use of different services like Instacart or, Kroger's Click List or Amazon Fresh, whatever, grocery store delivery services you have available in your area. Like if you're able, make use of them. Like for our family, like we don't normally do that type of service. For us, that used to be considered an added expense. But right now, it's like we're home all day, every day. Like we're not driving anywhere. We're saving on gas money.
I mean, it's so interesting because like we went through when we total side note, but we went through and we like cut fast and cut deep of like everything when this all happened.
Yeah.
My husband's in the event planning business.
Yeah.
There are no events and trade shows happening for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
And so we went and we cut all these things out. But we're laughing because we're actually saving more money than we ever have
Yeah.
because I'm not stopping and getting a coffee. There's no going out for lunch. There's no gas in my car that normally is a gazillion dollars showing real estate. We're actually
Right.
saving money. So those are the kinds of things that we're doing as well.
Yeah.
The Instacart one, be cautious when you do any of them because they will substitute items if you tell them they can, and it might not be what you want. I have a friend who said, yes, you could substitute our organic milk, and they got chocolate milk.
Okay.
Not helpful at all. Not at all.
Oh my
She's like,
God.
and then we got chocolate milk. I was like, what do you do with chocolate milk?
That's your splurge.
And she was like, her kid eats cereal all the time. And I was like, so now do you use chocolate milk on your cereal?
That's a weird one.
Yeah. So I was like, that's not exactly a
No.
substitute. That's like a fully different product.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I agree. It's the kind of that's kind of splurge that
Mhm.
if that's what it's going to take to keep my family healthy and all of that.
Yeah.
I had to go the other day because, and same, I'm sure with a bunch of people this week with Easter and Passover,
Mhm.
that it's like there was no way I could put everything I needed to on a click list. So I
Yeah.
masked up. Felt like
Yeah.
a robber.
Yeah.
Shannon, I've kept you longer than I said I was going to, and I know you have a family.
No worries.
I appreciate this. Check out her. Do you call it a website, a blog? What do you call
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can go to a website or a blog, whatever. They both work. It's a food and recipe website.
It's
Mhm.
really good, you guys. It's really, really
Oh, I
good.
just
Like recipes that are on there, all of that. It's really good and it's well worth looking at. If you have other questions for Shannon, feel free to drop them here. I will tag her and get them to her and she can answer stuff. Um, she's awesome with all of these things.
thanks,
So
man.
thank you, my friend, for being here with me.
Yeah. Thanks for
I'm
having me.
motivated. I am going to spend some time figuring out as soon as Passover's. I'll probably start now for next week's meal plan so that I can
Yeah.
actually have something good. But yeah, switching up some recipes and all that I think will be really helpful. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being
Yeah.
here.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Good
All
chatting.
right. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.